What's up, guys? Just been working here at the desk. This is my contest prep blog. Yeah, this is the magic where it happens. My office is also in the laundry room, if you didn't know. But I'm gonna let my dog inside. I wanted to just blog my contest prep in a very informal way. No microphone, just front screen of my phone. Come on, buddy. Give my dog a treat. Oliver gets a treat, don't you, buddy? But not me, because we're in prep mode. I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. I need to double check. I think it's 23 weeks out. I could be completely wrong now. It might be 21. But the point is, I've got it all written on a document, and I'm going here just to kind of show you guys what we're working with right now. All right, so here, this is the physique right now. Now, I have been in I would say, maintenance kind of, I call it a primer phase for a few weeks now. So I'm hanging around about 185 pounds. And I'll flip this around and talk more. But as you can see, like, some outline of abs. Overall, like, I feel like my arms are like a little deflated from where they were earlier in the fall. Like chest and back feels okay, but just I've been doing less overall volume, and I'll explain why. All right, so the reason I did less volume was I was in what we call a primer phase, and the goal of a primer phase is to reduce volume, do more like strength-specific training. I was training full body most days, like a lot of 5x5 training. Like you do 2 warm-up sets of 5, and I do 3 sets of 5. And I think it's great for building muscle if you have the volume dialed in just right. But the purpose of this was to just get stronger, maintain some levels of strength on some things instead of getting stronger, and just make sure I was recovered. Knowing in December I was going to be, I'd had a pretty good cut late summer into the fall. I cut from about 195, I guess, to, where did I get to? 177. And then I've leveled back off about 185, and I maintained that for right at 7, almost 8 weeks. Yeah, it was 8 weeks, I guess, 8 weeks. And then we're starting the contest prep now. Now, right before Christmas, you say, yeah, but I'm going to be giving myself like a maintenance break. And that's the thing with a bodybuilding show, you don't just say, okay, I'm 12 weeks out and go straight at it. That is miserable, and a great way to have a 30-pound rebound when you're done. You have to be smart and intelligent about it. You have to plan way ahead, and that's why I'm starting at like 23 weeks out from my show. Now, I've done 2 competitions on a stage before, like typical bodybuilding shows, and I've done 1 virtual show. I was going to compete in 2020, and obviously the pandemic had other plans. My show was canceled. That was going to be in Nashville, the ANBF, or Nashville Natural, whatever it's called. And essentially, instead they did an online competition where everybody, was welcome to compete who had planned on doing a show that year. The competition was about 2 weeks before when my show would have been. Plus, when they announced the show was canceled, I quit prep in March. So I got like essentially 6 weeks behind prep. But I prepped for 6 weeks for the online competition after having been in prep January and February, and was able to win Classic Physique. I forget how many guys in that class, but that was really cool to win that. Unfortunately, normally a first place win would have given me a pro card, but since it was an online show and they couldn't drug test and stuff, they weren't able to do that. So this is a natural show. If I were to win first place, I would have the ability to qualify to win a pro show, but we'll see. I'm getting it up there for me. I don't do it for anything other than me. This will be my 4th competition, 3rd competition on a stage. Oh yeah, and I meant to mention training and food. The way I'm going to go about this, I've done it different ways, and I decided to do this. I am going to take a slightly different approach with training, just simply because I've got some bulging discs, and it's nothing from weightlifting. It's an injury I had in college before I ever really ever picked up a barbell. I worked out, but I was with a Bowflex at home and dumbbells and stuff. This is an injury I probably had when I was a kid from a fall or something, they said. So I am taking a higher volume approach. I'm training 6 days, first thing in the morning. I'm going with legs on Monday, and then I think I'm doing back on Tuesday. No, I'm doing calves and chest on Tuesday, back on Wednesday, shoulders and arms on Thursday. Friday goes back to legs. Saturday will be chest and calves. Sunday I rest, and then we repeat Monday. Normally, I'm known for doing more like an upper-lower split, or like a upper-lower pull-push legs, or push one day, like chest, shoulders, triceps, and back and legs the second day, stuff like that. But since I'm kind of, upping the volume to compensate for where I can't, deadlift 315 for reps right now, or, put 315 on my back for squats, I'm compensating with that with just some extra volume. So whereas my normal training for me historically, my weekly working sets per week per muscle group would have been like 7 to 10, maybe something like 12 for back. We're going to be in more like 12 to 20 working sets per week on average. Some things will be with 6 days on a 4-day split. 2 muscle groups will get trained twice that week. So it's different. But I did something like this during the pandemic, and it was nostalgic. It was fun for me when I was prepping for the online show. So that's what I'm doing. So diet-wise, I'm just training fasted. I might put like a half a scoop of protein in milk and then use that as coffee creamer. But right now I've just been training fasted just with coffee. And then I have a protein smoothie with like banana peanut butter, a scoop of whey isolate, almond milk, and frozen berries instead of ice cubes. After I work out, mid-morning I have like 4 eggs and a piece of toast. Lunch, just like meat and vegetables, and the amount of rice or potatoes with that will depend on, it's higher right now and it'll lower as prep goes on. I have an avocado with that as well, because having a healthy fat really helps my mind in the afternoon stay focused. And then I'll have another meat and vegetable meal like mid-afternoon, and then I have dinner. Dinner's tricky because I'm not doing like meat and asparagus or something like a lot of bodybuilders would do. I'm gonna have family dinner, but I'm stopping when I'm 80% full. And this is where it gets tricky. If stopping at 80% full, dinner was still like carb heavy. My bedtime snack will be a scoop of protein and a piece of fruit, or maybe just a scoop of protein, or maybe egg whites with some peppers or something. And then if dinner was just, pretty balanced, like meat, vegetable, carb, and I stop at 80% full, then I'll have something like a bowl of but protein oats at bedtime or something like that. So it's just, you have to be flexible. I hate that word flexible, because when you think of flexible dieting, and people like, hey, I had a ton of donuts and still burned fat. Like, yeah, but you probably felt terrible, because donuts don't sustain you like complex carbohydrates would during your day. So as a dad, you have to take a different approach. And when you have the chance, you lock in. So that's why it's smoothie, eggs, all highly nutritious things during the day. And I have a little wiggle room at dinner, but still, by stopping it at 80% full, what I'm aiming to do is cap dinner at like 5, maybe 600 calories. And then based on dinner, if it was maybe a little over that, or if the macros were just super carb or fat heavy, it can change what I have at bedtime for snack. So that's what I'm doing. I am going to track macros like once a week just to stay calibrated. So I'll share those with you as I get them. Maybe a longer video this first time. I'll show some training footage and stuff and break all that stuff down. But I just want to give you all an inside look. Let me know what your biggest takeaway. And just remember, this is my workouts, my diet, not yours. But you're welcome to follow along just to see what it looks like, just to get inspiration. Maybe there's some things you can implement, but just don't try to copy what I'm doing, because I'm 41 years old, 6 feet, 185 pounds right now. With my training history, my previous injuries, and all those things aren't going to be your situation, your scenario. You would need a custom setup for your custom life. All right. But it's here just as inspiration. All right. Appreciate you guys tuning along. We'll talk later.